What's up guys, Justin DiGiovanni here, and in this video we are taking this photo and we're turning it into this photo. So let's go. So let me tell you a little bit how I ended up processing this image. Originally this image was supposed to be a silhouette on my last video, which I'll have the link right there. But then I realized that there is a little bit of detail in the shadow. So while I was in Lightroom, I was kind of messing around and I brought up my shadow, and holy moly, there is so much details in the photo. And I actually changed everything with the photo. I brought out my my foreground and basically just brought that photo to life. So if you guys don't have a neutral density filter, here is the way that I shot this photograph. I ended up exposing for the sky in a low ISO. Low ISO because you don't want to bring noise into this composition, because the higher ISO you go, the more noisy it will get when you bring out your details. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump onto the computer. Let's go! So first, we are gonna go to very bottom of this scroll tab. So we're gonna go to camera calibration, and we're gonna go down to landscape. And that just brings out your blues, your reds, you know. And it's really useful. And then of course I'll go to chromatic aberration, kind of remove that in case there's any of that which we don't need. So we're gonna go to our exposure, and we're gonna jump just a little bit, let's say about 70 right now. Contrast, we're gonna skip. Highlights, I'm definitely going to darken this quite a bit. What do you think? Probably 80s. Yeah, let's go. There we go. My shadows. Woo! We're gonna crank this up all the way to 100%, and look at it. That's already coming out really nicely. My whites and my blacks, I'm not really going to mess around with that. My clarity, I'm actually gonna bring this up probably about plus 20. And then my vibrance, I'm gonna bring this up just a little bit. How about 27? There we go. Saturation, we're gonna do about halfway, 49. I know, very precise, right? See, look at that. I mean, you could pretty much call it done. And it's so simple, just kind of playing around with the notches. And man, it looks amazing. And then as you can see down below, I already messed around with my colors. So my greens are at 32. Let's see, what are my yellows? Yeah, see, my yellows are at 34. And then my oranges, whoops, yeah, I got about 18, plus 18 on it, just so I could bring out all the different colors. Man, this thing makes it pop really nicely. So we would have to do two different things. One of them is go to the letter K on your keyboard, and that's a shortcut brush right here. So the brush, we're gonna be doing about, let's see, yeah, let's see, 47, 46, you know, mess around with it, see how it is. And then I'm actually going to bring up the contrast just a wee bit. And then my clarity, I'm going to bring that just a little bit up. And when you do clarity, it kind of, I mean, it does sharpen it, but it also kind of brightens it. And I don't know how to explain it, little highlights and everything. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to kind of zoom in just a little bit, and we're going to focus on the structure right here. So a nice little trick when you kind of go around the borders of, say, like any kind of, like if you're doing like landscape or anything at all, when you bring up the brush tool. So instead of going around your structures and kind of like getting really tight and just kind of hitting the edges, you know, trying to be very careful, there's an easier way to doing this. What you do, you hold down Command on your keyboard, and then you're going to go somewhat close to the edge of your subject, and then just click. And what that does, that actually brings up your brushes right to the edges without spilling over. And this is what I typically do when I'm kind of like editing a section in my photograph. And as you can see, like, this thing is awesome. Like, it cuts down so much work just by going around the edges while hitting Command and clicking on the brush. Like, look at that. That's so easy. Like, it's so like sharp too. Like, it doesn't matter if your brush is like fanned out or if it's just a complete circle, like a sharp circle. It doesn't really matter, because once you hit the Command key and start going around your subjects, it will actually do really well. When you come down near your bushes or like your trees or anything like that, you could hit the Command button and start doing the same process. Or if you want to kind of fan out your brush a little bit and just kind of doing it like that, like either way will do really well. But if you kind of want to get in the tighter spots, you could always hit your Command key and start to go down in between each branches. So kind of like zoom out, and so I'm gonna hit the O key, and that shows where your brush was. So I mean, that's pretty freaking simple. So one of the other things that in this photograph I ended up taking away was the little trail that kind of goes on the side of the mountain right here. I'll show you guys. Yeah, so yeah, all these little circles, that's actually a path. And same thing with these guys right here. Those are like little houses in the back that I didn't really want. But yeah, on your keypad, hit Q, and what that does, that brings up a eraser essentially. So I'll zoom in on this little section where the path was. All these, so you guys can see what I was really working with. Because to me, I didn't like the path that was kind of like leading behind the mountain. It wasn't for me. I don't like man-made things in my photographs. Hit the Q on your keypad, and it'll bring up this awesome tool. This is basically an eraser, and it will replace it from a scene in the different area. So you could either do a heal or a clone. Clone is what it is. It's a clone. Like, it will grab something from another location and put it over. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I mostly just go for the heal. So I'll show you guys really quick. See how like it stretches up here? Gathers that information and brings it down here, and like it looks like part of the scene. Essentially, just go up the trail. See how like it jumps over to the right now? It'll pick up the information from different areas that supposedly be better, but see how like this one it picked up the bush, and I'm not really fond of that. And you can kind of do it relatively quick, as I'm doing it right here. And it does a really good job of finding the location. Yeah, see how like it jumped this location over here? It, for some reason, it grabbed this. And I'm like, I don't need a line in my photograph, so I could just take it, drag it where it looks pretty good, like right about here. And then hit Q. to get rid of it. Zoom out, you pretty much have everything done. So oh man, like that took like a matter of like no time at all. And man, like the photo pops really well. And let me show you the before and after, which when you're on Lightroom, go ahead and hit the Y key. Y key will bring up your before and after. It's a nice little shortcut. Look at the difference on this. This is like amazing. Like clearly, like, I mean, the whole saying of like night and day, but I mean, really, look at this. This thing is crap. But yeah, this is like absolutely gorgeous. So the key for this situation is expose for the sky and also a low ISO. Now you can tell that it's a little bit grainy, and we're at 250 on the ISO and it's still kind of grainy. But I mean, it still looks really awesome. Yeah, I was blown away when I discovered that there was details in the shadow. Yeah, that kind of rocked my world. I was like, holy crap. Because the original idea was just to have a silhouette of this mountain peak. But luckily I kind of like played around with the shadow and poof, holy moly. And like little adjustments on the slide bars and you know, the brush tools, different tools of Lightroom definitely like made this photo. It came out so much better than I thought. So when you're out photographing, don't delete any of the photos on your camera on location, because you'll never know what you bring back home and throw into your editing software, and you come up with something like this, like amazing. So this video idea actually came from my roommate. She's the one that told me to create a video showing the editing process. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys got something out of it and learned something completely new, because this is actually new for myself. I've never showed anyone my editing process. Just that's who I am. I never show anyone how I get the photos the way I do. So that's it for the time being. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, you know what to do. Hit that like button. Yes! And if you want to see more of the videos that I produce, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Yes! You guys are awesome. Stay awesome. And until then, I will see you all in the next video. See ya.